I hate that kind of stuff. Thank you for letting us use our team. You did. You hooked my computer. I haven't looked at it yet. Basically, but I just kind of wonder.
Good evening. Can we call ourselves to order? Everybody will rise and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Do we have anybody to lead us in the pledge tonight? Any students back there want to lead us?
Yeah.
Come on up. How is everybody this evening? Could you state your names for us?
I'm Colton.
Hi, Colton. What grade are you in?
I'm
Fifth grade, okay.
I'm Raya.
Mariah?
No, just Raya.
Just Raya.
And I'm in 5th grade as well.
Fifth grade? Pardon me? Mila. Yeah, my hearing's going. You guys all like school?
Yes.
Okay. Would you mind, if everybody put their hand on their heart, would you guys mind getting us started in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the United flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Okay. We'll go ahead and do roll call. I am present. Dr. O'Neill?
Present.
Mr. Heater?
Present.
Dr. Bales? Mrs. Barnes-Griffin? Mr. Irvin? Present. Mr. Lowe?
Present.
So we have an introduction this evening. I believe Sean Davis is here this evening. Yes, would you come up and introduce yourself to the board? So we are excited to have you.
I am excited to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Sean Davis, and I am the new assistant principal here at Southview Elementary. I've been here about 2 weeks, and it's been wonderful. So thank you all for having me.
And so your history, you were at Longfellow years ago, right?
I was at Longfellow about 8 years ago. I was there for maybe 7 years, and we did some amazing things, and seems like they're continuing what we've done, and we're looking to do some really great things where we are now. So
You were in Arizona, and
Yes.
somebody got you on the phone and said, hey, we need you. And
hey, I got the back call. Sign went up, signal went up. So,
well,
I packed the bag.
you and I have not met, but I can tell you I was just tickled to death when I got that information from Dr. K. So we welcome you and we need you.
Well,
and,
thank you.
And we're very, very, very happy to have you.
Thank you, and I appreciate it, and I am very happy to be here, and I'm proud of the work we're doing at Southview.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are now, I believe, on to East Washington Academy. And Mrs. Anglin is here with some students, I think. So the floor is yours.
Thank you all for your time. I like to start each year with my board presentation, having us hear from our 5th graders. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our students to build their leadership skills, to build their public speaking skills. And I am very gracious to the families that are investing their time this evening and allowing this opportunity for our students. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Colton.
Hi, my name is Colton, and I have a few of my favorite memories. My first favorite memory is Hat Day. My second one is Polar Express Day, and my third is Field Day. My fourth favorite one is field trips, and my last favorite memory is playing sports. I remember my first Hat Day and all the crazy hats I saw. I wore my Orioles hat because I played baseball at the time, and that was my team's name. Hat Day is my favorite because we get to have fun with it and do our own thing with them. My second favorite memory is Polar Express Day because we can be in our surprisingly comfy pajamas. It is my favorite memory because it's just fun in general. We get hot chocolate and snacks and we watch the Polar Express movie. My third favorite memory is Field Day because there are so many games, and even though I might hurt myself here and there, but it doesn't hurt, or I just don't notice it. Field Day is special because everyone is having fun and I'm having fun, and I just like seeing that. My fourth favorite memory is the field trips. We're going to possibly see a Bill sign tomorrow with Miss Jarrett and Mr. Wilson, and I think it will be awesome. I've been to Camp Adventure, the aquarium, zoo, and so many others I can't remember, but all of them were fun. I remember at the zoo when I touched my first manta ray. That exhibit is not my lifetime favorite exhibit. My final favorite memory is EWA sports. I really loved playing sports at EWA. I played basketball with Mr. Harris, and it was exciting playing the finals at the field house last year. I won the long jump, 100 relay, and the 50-meter dash on Mr. Howell's track team, and I can't wait to win this year. I chose these specific memories for a reason. They all had to do with fun. Fun is the reason why EWA is so good. I hope next year is fun and the year after and so on. My brother is working hard to start a tennis club at Northside, and it's the one thing I hope to see, aside from my friends, next year. Overall, I can safely assume that next year will be fun. It will be different, but I'm okay with that because I know I'll make it. Thank you for your time.
So our fifth graders are actually going to go down to the State House and watch how a bill gets put into place to become a law. So we are excited about that trip. I'm going to introduce Raya to come up next.
Hello, my name is Raya Derby. I'm a fifth grader at EWA, and here are some of my top 5 memories that I've had at the school. My first favorite memory is Miss Williams' fairy tale ball. This was very fun, and it just was amazing because we all got to be our favorite fairy tale, which is just awesome in my opinion. My second favorite memory is making a board game in Miss Meixel's class. This was very fun because we could do what we wanted to do and express how we felt with anything. And my third favorite memory is that in Mr. Wilson's class, I've been on about 3 field trips, and tomorrow we're going on another one, which I think is super cool because I don't get to go on field trips a ton, and this year I've definitely gotten to go on many more than normal. And my fourth favorite memory is all of our house rewards that we've had recently have been very fun. And my last favorite memory is field day. Field day's awesome. I'm very athletic, and so I love doing all of the sports and everything. And this just like lets us run, lets us do obstacle courses, and it's just really fun. We recently met some of the teachers at Northside and some of the students, and I'm looking forward to going there next year. I hope Mr. Williams knows that I'm ready to be in most of the sports next year. Here are some of my ideas I have for EWA. I would love if we could improve our playground, and I would love if we could get lockers for the 5th graders to help them be ready for middle school. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. And Mila, our last student speaker.
Hi, my name is Mila Crittenden, and I am a 5th grader at EWA. I've greatly enjoyed my time in elementary, and I'd like to start off with some of my favorite memories. One is meeting new friends. Second is doing after-school sports like basketball and volleyball. Third is my 3rd grade field day. Fourth is meeting dogs for our house meetings. And last but most certainly not least is my fourth grade Christmas party. I have recently visited Northside and plan on going there for school next year. I met my teachers and toured the school. I am excited for next year and hope my principal and all of my teachers know that I'm very eager to start my first year of middle school. Thank you for your time and having me today.
So I'm curious, the board has heard that both, I think Colton and was it Raya, like field day, and they both sprint. Colton won the 100-yard dash, I think I heard, or 100-meter dash. And so if we had those two run a sprint out in the hallway, who would win? And I see, is it Mila? Yeah, she said I would win. So I would probably get in trouble if I adjourned this meeting and convened them out in the hall for a sprint. So I will pass on that tonight. But
Last day of school, we might be able to swing something.
yeah, well, thank you so much for reporting your memories. And your organization was wonderful, and you painted a wonderful picture of EWA. And so that tells me you had really a fine experience, and I'm sure you're going to do very well at Northside. If there's anything you ever need, let us know, okay? All right, I've got the lockers. Yeah, the lockers and the playground. And a tennis team at Northside. Yeah, Mr. Lowe will help you with the tennis courts. So.
No problem.
He can do the lockers. Thank you.
Thank you. If we could just give them one more round of applause. Yes, it is one of our new initiatives this year, so I will definitely be getting into it. Thank you all so much for your time. I wanted to start by sharing where we started this year. Very, very literally, this is where we started with less than 2 weeks to go before our first day of school. So I'm going to share a little bit more about the building renovation that we've gone through over the last year. But I just can't say enough how proud I am of our staff's flexibility and resilience as we've navigated the building project. Again, this was just a few weeks before the start of this current school year, and so we have adapted and just really enjoyed our finished space. But I wanted to start with where we started. So just to share a little bit, these are some photos. We began in December of 2022 with our building renovation. These photos were taken, again, just before the start of this year, but I'm extremely proud of how our staff transitioned through that process. It was a big lift because as each part of our building got renovated, our staff temporarily transitioned into a location, continued teaching, packed up their rooms into storage pods, and then while that phase was finished, then transitioned back into their space. So over the course of that entire semester leading up to this summer, our staff really exhibited a student-first, flexible mindset. We were adamant that we were not going to lose the quality of our instruction or the quality of the school experience for students. But what we can see through these pictures are some of the improvements to our external parking lot space. What we can see in the middle are the improvements to our entryway, which significantly has improved the security in our building, and that's one of the things I am most excited that we were able to do. And then just another kind of building construction picture. So again, throughout the course of an entire semester, we navigated different parts of our building getting renovated. A tremendous amount of work was done over the summer. And then at the beginning of this school year, we finished up most of the renovation. We have just a few things left to finish over spring break, but it has been tremendous to see that final product and be in that final space despite some of the challenges along the way. So I want to again thank everyone here for the time, the investment of resources, and just how much trust you have in us being stewards of this money. It has been a complete life-changing experience for our students and staff. So I just wanted to first make sure I was appropriately thanking you for all of the efforts, and to say that we have absolutely seen the light at the end of the tunnel and really reap the benefits of that. So thank you so much. I wanted to start my presentation by sharing a little bit about our school-wide goals this year, which really build off the goals we set last year. So as a building, we are striving to have 70% of our students at grade level readiness in reading. We broke that down a step further. In our younger grades, we really are focused on phonics and high frequency words. In our 3rd through 5th grade, within reading, we're really focused on comprehension, but even more specifically nonfiction, which tends to be a little bit more of a challenging area for comprehension for students. In writing, we are again striving to have 70% of our students writing at proficient levels. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we're measuring our progress towards that goal. But what I wanted to share is a mid-year update for where we are as we're moving towards our goals. We began the year with 36% of our students at grade level. By mid-year, more than 53% of our students have moved to grade level. So we're really excited about that growth, and we believe we're on a trajectory to hit 70% of grade level readiness according to the end of year iReady assessment. I'll talk, within that, 100% of those subcategories have demonstrated growth, meaning in every category of every grade level of iReady, we're showing improvement, which I was thrilled to see when we analyzed our January data. A photo here is Dr. K and the central office team graciously allocated some volunteer time to support some of our students who needed a little bit of extra enrichment. So these photos are Lisa and Violet from the central office team, who were working with a few of our 3rd grade students through this semester and just did a fabulous job with our students. It definitely takes all hands on deck. Before I jump into the goals I shared with you last year, I can also say we're monitoring the writing goal, and the way that we're doing that is through an initiative that we put into place last year that we've continued and built upon for this year. So when I look back at the goals I shared with you last year, I wanted to provide you an update on where we are on those goals. The first goal that I shared with you last year is that we would be continuing to work on our reading and writing, and I believe we've demonstrated growth towards that goal. The second goal I shared with you last year is that we were looking forward to a new math curriculum, and I'm thrilled with the Ready Math resources that we've been implementing throughout this school year. With additional staff, we have created a structure to implement Project Lead the Way, and that is certainly on par with the goals that we had for last year with implementation of that piece. To implement the house system, I'm going to talk a little bit more, but that's our PBIS system, our positive behavior system, which is the school-wide framework that we use to cultivate shared values. So I'll talk a little bit more about how we built that out last year and what the implementation looks like this year. We have really continued to focus on how to differentiate our coaching and development for our staff. We have really intensified how we are engaging with families now with the lifted COVID restrictions and with the addition of our family navigator position. So we have coupled those together, and I can definitely share a few updates for how we are further engaging families. And then finally, we continue to think about how we can further cultivate our partnership with the Ball State Honors College, who we're partnered with. To dig a little bit deeper, and this is a picture of our staff at some of our differentiated professional development, we really try to meet, just like we strive to meet students exactly where they are to give them what they need to grow, we try to do the same thing with our staff. So We have weekly grade level meetings, but within that, we further differentiate. New teachers need something very different than veteran teachers. Our general education teachers might need something very different than our high ability staff who use different curriculum. So we do a tremendous amount of differentiation to meet that diversity of need. Specifically, we meet as a high ability team monthly to give them targeted development that might be different from other teachers within the building. As a member of the leadership team, we also develop individualized teacher coaching plans. So we work with teachers to set goals for themselves and then develop individual coaching plans and then monitor their progress on that system. And then finally, a tremendous effort is made to identify excellence in the building so teachers can lead in front of their own fellow colleagues. So we're developing a great pipeline of teacher leaders who are able to share and develop their fellow colleagues. The second goal that I shared, and this is another picture of small group teacher development, is I shared that we were going to continue building our reading and writing areas. As I mentioned in an earlier slide, we're demonstrating growth in every subcategory of the iReady test, which I'm thrilled about, and I believe, again, that we are on a trajectory to reach our end-of-year goal. In writing, to share a little bit more, last year I shared with you that we implemented common writing prompts. So every quarter, every grade level gives the same prompt. We use the same IDOE rubric to analyze our progress, to look for trends, to bring that student work to our teacher collaboration time, and then to use that to plan our instruction moving forward. We started this last year, and we've continued that effort this year. And finally, our new PBIS system was another new initiative that we were in the process of building out last year. Again, this is our school-wide system that a committee of staff helped to develop last semester and that we started implementing this school year in August. To give you the high level, every single class is part of our house. We have 4 houses, and each of our houses are aligned to one of the 4 core values that our staff identified: courage, compassion, perseverance, and integrity. So each student is on one of those houses, and each house is full of a kindergarten through 5th grade class, so that we're able to really build relationships across the building as a student body, but then also more of our kids know more of the adults. Each house meeting occurs on the monthly early release days. To provide a little bit of data, you get recognized for demonstrating excellence in these core values by getting a Paw Point. In quarter 1 and quarter 2, we awarded 4,168 Paw Points. This means that over 4,000 times semester 1, our staff recognized excellence in our students. You get a Paw Point for going above and beyond, not meeting basic expectations. So it's really created a culture where we are recognizing and celebrating our students demonstrating these values, and every Paw Point you earn goes to your house. So it's really cultivating a team culture, and each team is able to compete and earn different things. They might have caught up. What they mentioned is every quarter we have a big celebration. This Friday we'll be cultivating a celebration for compassion. So we have a glow party in the gym. If anyone wants to come by, we always need a few extra hands, but we have done a big outdoor recess, we have done a carnival, and our end of year will be a big field trip to Gibson Skating Park. So again, we want to recognize and celebrate and give attention to those positive choices, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how our system is going year 1. Here are a few pictures. We have intentionally added signage throughout our building to align to our focus. Each quarter, we focus deeply on one of those 4 core values. And then here you can see house courage in one of their house meetings. So just like a basketball squad coming out for a game, our students run through their house courage sign. They've got cheers, they've got chants, kids are celebrated. So it's a really joyful experience every early release day. As we look ahead to what's coming next, We really hope to just get better at a lot of the things we've currently implemented, thinking about what is the next step we can do to take it a step further. But there are a few additional things that we have put into place that I wanted to share. The first thing is we've implemented a protocol to give an academic screener to every new student who comes into our building. What we have found is we want to meet our students' needs the minute they walk into the door. If we're delayed getting records from someplace, or the student has transitioned from a location where weren't able to connect with their administrator or previous teacher, we want to know where they are and what they need the minute they come to our building. So we've implemented this protocol where a member of our team gives a short academic screener to any new student. We get that information, and then we use it to make sure that they're in a class that's appropriate for their needs and getting the appropriate small group support that they need. So we communicate that information with the classroom teacher, who is very quickly able to acclimate that student into the building and make sure, again, that we are meeting their needs from the minute they start with us. So that protocol has really been helpful as we consider families who move in and out, to make sure that straight away we are aware of their academic readiness and responding to it. The second thing that we've done is what I consider our student support protocols. I actually brought a hard copy if anyone is so inclined, but essentially we're always figuring out when our students struggle, what are they struggling with, and what trends do we notice so that we can respond appropriately. So we developed this form, which includes if a student is struggling, the teacher communicates by writing down what type of incident they were struggling with, what interventions they tried, and the time of day this occurred. The reason this is helpful is this information, the minute a student is struggling and that teacher needs support, this information is given to a member of our behavior support team, who I consider myself, our SAC, our counselor, behavior coach, even our family navigator. By collecting this information and then meeting as a team regularly to analyze it, we are able to figure out what behaviors the student struggles with, but more importantly, what interventions have we tried that are or are not working? What times of day are things happening so that we can develop individualized plans to better support our students? So this provides us a data mechanism to make sure that we're very intentional with how we respond to and support our students. And then finally, I mentioned we have really focused this year on increasing our family engagement with the addition of our fabulous family navigator. We have monthly sessions on different topics. And then I also meet every family who is significantly struggling. I meet with them through a mid-year meeting. So we identify our students who are most at risk of not being successful in the next grade. And we create a spreadsheet with all of that information. And then myself in conjunction with the classroom teacher, sit down with every single one of those families throughout the month of January and February to give them the resources that they need for their student and their family to be successful. So it requires kind of a tremendous amount of time, but I think building that mid-year connection with families has really helped get more of our students on track as the second semester has progressed. Looking ahead, it's a little hard to know exactly what our 23-24 goals will be because we want to make sure we're responding to the data of this current year. But we are certainly knowing that reading and writing will continue to be a focus for us. And we're really excited to dive more into the science of reading and some of the new curriculum changes that will be coming with that. So I anticipate that we'll be really diving deep, learning a lot more about that, and just making sure that we are implementing that with fidelity and keep supporting our students getting to more and more students at grade level. So again, there's another photo of our PBIS signage in our building. We have different house boards where students can get shouted out, but we also keep track of the points awarded for each house, which creates that fun sense of excitement, a little bit of competitiveness with the kids, but we just want to make sure that what we value is visible. So that's just another photo of our PBIS with a few of our house boards in the hallway. With that, I am so again thankful for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mrs. Anglin?
Jim, one comment. I want to really applaud you. The PBIS program, I think, is phenomenal. And what I think is so impressive about that, it's good not just for goodness sake, but it certainly is good for that as well. But I think it also leads to academic success, because when kids feel good, it's just like when they eat well and they sleep well. If they feel good about how they treat each other and how everybody's interacting, I think they'll do better academically. So I think it's a win-win all the way around, and the progress on that, I think, is very impressive.
Thank you. It's been really wonderful to see our fifth graders really take on a mentorship role for some of the younger students in their house, and our hope is that it becomes such a part of our culture. It carries over into every facet of school. So students making great choices on the bus, students making great choices in the cafeteria, and again, really helping a pretty large school feel more like a family. So we just hope that it continues to cultivate that feeling.
When I think of the word continuous improvement, I think about Sarah, because she's always thinking about what can I do to make it better? And she comes up with some ideas, that's for sure, don't you, Sarah? We love how she is always thinking and having, we love to say great ideas, try it out and let us know, and then we can replicate it in other places. So we've seen so much progress, and we've appreciated all of your time and effort.
Thank you. Sometimes I need to be told not so many ideas, or rein the ideas in, or not right now, but I love thinking about ideas, and I want us to get better every day, and you don't get better overnight. You get better through small incremental choices and changes. And so I couldn't be more happy to be a part of the Muncie team. Various people have and continue to support me here and support our team. So I'm thankful to be able to try out some of the ideas.
Is there anything that you're needing in EWA from the board at this time? Wish list?
The building renovation, I truly can't say thank you enough to the amount of money and time invested in that. I think, to build off Raya's point, I think a pipe dream of mine would be to make our playground a little bit improved. I actually drew a diagram up. I didn't bring it because we're not at the playground yet. But in a perfect world, I would have maybe a K2 zone with smaller equipment, with a 3-5 zone, maybe a walking path around with an outdoor classroom and a shade structure. But that's just a kind of a 5-year dream. But I did draw it out because when Ryan mentioned the playground, and I hear it a lot from the kids, I did start to think about what would an optimal space look like. But I truly can't thank you enough for all the building renovation efforts, and so it'd be hard to ask for anything else.
So is there anything, I know you drew out the whole playground. Is there anything incrementally that could be done to improve it? Give it some thought. We may not be able to bite off the whole sandwich when.
And I don't know how permits work, or I really just kind of drew a picture up of what I thought would be wonderful, but I haven't done any research, but I appreciate the offer, and certainly I think.
Get a really high metal slide on asphalt, like all of us.
That slide's going to be why I had this baby early, because I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
My anxiety heightens because I see these little feet going up. So
It's not on asphalt, though, is it? I know it's high.
No, there's
Okay.
like kind of
Like the
not
tires.
asphalt.
Yeah.
It does feel kind of high though.
It's high. Yeah. Yeah. It takes me back. Anything else that you need? So it looks like you have made significant progress at mid-year on your goal, and you think you're on a path to meet that?
I do. I think we've gone from, I want to say 36 to 53% at grade level, according to iReady. So I think if our end goal is 70% and we stay on that pathway, I think we'll certainly be within reach. And then on our writing goal, we continue to make progress. And through those common quarterly prompts, using the IDOE rubrics, we feel like that's a good measure to see how students will do on the writing portion of iLearn. So I think what I want to do is really analyze our data to correlate if our iReady results are really predictive of how students will do on iLearn in those upper grades. And so to really make sure if we're monitoring our goals using this data source, it really is going to predict kind of the end goal of the standardized test. And so I look forward to analyzing that a little bit more deeply, but I'm proud of the growth so far. We've certainly got more work to do, so.
Well, because it's obvious, you have a major life event coming up, and we wish you the very best. And I would ask that you set aside the data for a while and, just focus on you, okay?
Thank you. I'm a little out of breath, but Josephine's going to be good at data, I think, by the time she comes along. So I just really want to make sure the school is really well prepared for when I transition off for a little bit. And I couldn't be more thrilled. Mrs. Ermeline Faulkner is going to be able to step in and assist through that transition. I've been able to already meet her once, and I think she's going to be fabulous. So I feel confident that I've got a great team and great support in place.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions? Anything additional? Okay. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it. Dr. Bell.
Good evening. Good evening, President Williams, Dr. Kwiatkowski, board members, families, and friends. I'm here to share with you today about our human resources, what we've been doing past and especially since July with looking at recruitment and retention. And so from the Human Resource Department, we always are recruiting consistently to identify and hire qualified staff. And then for retention, we definitely want to maintain and keep the staff that we have already in place with Muncie schools. The status of Indiana and actually across this country is that there is a teacher shortage. And in the Tribune Star, some of the research I've done, that there were 95% of Indiana public school superintendents responding to that. There was out of 271, 60.5% responded, and 95% of those superintendents share about the shortage of qualified teaching candidates in the state of Indiana. And then also the Department of Education reports shared back in January that there was 1,700 open certified positions that were posted and 1,300 non-certified positions that are open across the state of Indiana. So some of the things that we have tried here at Muncie with recruitment strategies, we post our openings on Nimble, which is connected to IDOE, and then it pushes it out to Indeed and Teachers to Teachers. And for those that are watching or those that are here, I've even put the website there for you so that you can go on and apply to Muncie schools and see what job postings are there. For our spring staffing, we do staffing in March, projecting for 2023, 2024, and we already have positions posted. There are open positions at all grade levels, at all school levels, so elementary, secondary, and high school, and those postings are out there. We also post on AppleTrack, and that our administrators can go right into ACE Frontline and see applications that are posted, and through AppleTrack, that sends it to K-12 Job Spot. And so that's another outlet where our postings are posted. And then we've done programs Caleb and I have met, and Chris Walker have met with Ball State and with Ivy Tech, looking at a Grow Your Own program. And with the Grow Your Own program, we start looking at current juniors and seniors to get them into dual language courses so that it gets them on a track to become teachers. And then our student teachers, where we work with universities that are around our Muncie area and share openings. And so Ball State, we work with Ball State, met with John D., and actually tomorrow and Thursday of this week, this is a little different little nugget here, but John D. from Ball State Student Teaching Department and I will present a substitute academy, and that Ball State students and Ivy Tech students will be coming because we're trying to get current Ball State students, not just Teachers College, but any Ball State or Ivy Tech students that are interested in subbing starting this spring throughout this school year to get them into sub. So I did want to put that out there. That meeting is tomorrow at Ball State. And then also reaching out to our student teachers that student taught back in the fall. We did that in the fall. And then now for this semester, those that are graduating and finishing up their student teaching this spring, we are reaching out to those teachers. We're trying to recruit early and make sure we get people in. Interviews have already started. Have a contact at Anderson University to get to their teaching population, those and avenues to post on their website. Also Taylor University and Ivy Tech, and hot off the press, I don't think I've even shared this with Dr. K yet, but Marian University has responded to my request, and we have, as of this week, formed a new partnership with Marian University out of Indianapolis, and they are an NIET system where we use NIET for our teacher and administrators rubric, evaluation rubric. They teach NIET in their courses, and they use that system. It's embedded within their courses. And then with this new partnership, Marian University is offering 25% tuition discount for students that want to get a master's degree, transition to teaching in elementary, secondary, or special ed, or those that are aspiring to be leaders. And he just confirmed that today, that they'll give us 25%. We know Ball State offers 50%. And then a part of that, they have agreed, Marian University has agreed to come alongside with me with recruiting and to share our job postings, and then also to possibly in the future, they have a partnership with the city of Indianapolis where they pay free tuition for master's program, and it's called BTR, Black Teacher Residency. And so they're doing it with the city of Indianapolis, but he will investigate and see if we could do it in the future as a partner with Muncie, where what they're doing for those teachers that teach in that city is free master's degree program in a residency program. And so I'm really excited about reaching out to the universities and their responses. Taylor University emailed me back again today, just saying, what can we do to help? And so really excited. Of course, Ball State and Ivy Tech have always been our partners and been meeting with them and sharing our job outlets with them. And I know I'll ask questions at the end, but that's kind of hot off the press. So any questions about Marian?
I think it's great. Just absolutely fantastic.
And so our recruiting strategies continue to be, we are hiring early. We have jobs posted. We're starting interviewing now. We advertise on social media. At some time soon, Andy and I are going to make this fabulous video. As I've checked out some other surrounding districts, they can't outdo us. We want a video as well. And so we'll get that video together, making personal contact with applicants. I thought I was the queen of that, but actually this evening, I heard that our new assistant principal in a dry food line was recruiting someone to come as an instructional assistant, gave them the information, and said, go apply today to Muncie Community Schools. So I do appreciate that. We're all trying to come together and recruit. Again, the Ball State discount is another recruiting strategies that is a nugget for people to come because they can do their continuing ed at a 50% discount of tuition at Ball State, and then attend job fairs. And we've been doing that even prior to me coming to this position as director of elementary. I've attended job fairs, but in today's technology world, job fairs, old school traditional job fairs, we really don't get many people because nowadays things are so fast with internet and social media that thinking outside the box is where we are because the job fairs, and we still will attend those that are offered. I know locally Ball State's not doing their job fair this year because they're changing with the times as well. Retention strategies. To retain teachers, we always offer a new teacher orientation in August. So those that we hire here in the spring will be those that come in or over the summer will attend our new teacher orientation at the start of the school year, which will be early August. And then a goal of mine this year, and again, I'm new in this position, so I don't know how frequent it was last year. I looked at some of the data, but I feel like we've had some additional hires throughout the year. I plan with that training this summer to have it recorded, and as we hire new people throughout the school year, they will get that in-depth or teacher orientation that we do at the beginning of the year, at least virtually. And so I meet with people, or I have to have that second interview and that conversation, building principles or doing orientation once they're in the building. But there is a lot that we pour into for that August new teacher orientation that I would like to capture that and be able to provide that at least virtually for new people that are hired after, September, October, even January. And then for teacher retention, we also provide staff support through master teachers. There's one in every building, and mentor teachers in each of our buildings. So they are pushed into classrooms. They're there as additional help and support to teachers. Our professional development opportunities that are offered throughout the school year and through NIET and our other initiatives, and then even in the summer. Low class sizes. Muncie has really settled in on looking at lower class sizes, especially at our elementary schools, and maintaining those numbers so that it impacts the classroom and teachers are able to do that 80% of the instruction in the classroom and students not having to go to intervention. So we really like having the class sizes. Also the pay increase, and that is great. We have stayed consistent around surrounding districts at the higher rate for our new teacher pay rate, and then increase for our teachers that have been here. And so there was a substantial increase this past, for this current school year that teachers did receive. And then wellness fair. And through Allison, she has provided that wellness fair and very many resources provided to teachers and opportunities for teachers during that fair. Other retention strategies, we do promote the naming a teacher of the year per school, and then we pick a teacher for the district to do that recognition. And then along with that came a stipend that that'll become a part of their pay if they are named those teachers of the year. We have naming the shining teacher, a new teacher of the year. And then we also have supported our support staff in recognizing them that are working above and beyond. The continuing education discount, keep throwing that in there because money does matter. And when we have people that want to go back to school, I didn't realize I had it in here about 3 times, but that is a plug for teachers that want to go back and continue their master's or doctorate level education. Stipends for hard to fill positions. We offer the stipends for those areas that are hard to fill. And then our community support. We know we have the A team, which is representatives of the CANS groups. So there's representatives that come together and discuss and share, the benefits of Muncie schools. And then also the Community Education Council is another resource to our teachers in our community. And the Back to School Teacher Store, I want to mention them as well as a resource, being able to provide classrooms, things to decorate the classroom. They provide books. We know they provide a lot of backpacks, and so there's a lot of resources that they do share with our teachers, and teachers are able to go and shop. To do our minority recruiting, working with Ms. Ward, she has developed a Minority Educators Council. She and I have both met with the Black Faculty Association at Ball State, the BFSA, and then Ms. Ward has regular correspondence with HBCUs. She also will be attending a HBCU fair where college representatives will be present, and she will take along some of our recruiting materials with her to share at those fairs And then Miss Ward will be attending a Black College Expo. And at that time, she would also work to recruit minority teachers as well, and take some of our MCS swag to get people interested. And then I will connect Ms. Ward with Marlon Llewellyn, who I spoke with from Marian University. I've mentioned it to her. I've mentioned it to Marlon that we had a Zoom meeting, but then we'll also include Ms. Ward because they are doing that black teacher residency program, and we really are working. He sounds like he's going to make it work for Muncie. Maybe not for this fall, but at least the next fall. And then goes for our retention and recruitment. Right now, posting our open positions for 2023, 2024, calling current students and interviewing now our current Ball State students, the Taylor students, Indiana Wesleyan, Marian University, all of those students that are graduating in the spring, calling them. I have a proposal this evening to present to the board a little later about a bonus referral to be offered to employees, and then the recorded video I shared with you that Andy will help me create. And then some retention goals is the salary within the competitive range, and I know Brad has a meeting sometime in the near future to look at the teacher salary, and we continue to make it competitive for our area, professional development that we provide, and then also the TAG grant that is offered through our funds from IDOE and related to teacher evaluation rubric. At this time, that is what I want to share with you about retention and recruitment. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Dr. Bell?
Yeah, quick question. Do you often talk, or is it the same across the board in Indiana, about the retirement package for teachers is pretty good, or? Yeah. It's good.
It is good.
Which it,
We probably should spell it out better.
Better.
Because, you know, that's what I tell people, do you realize if you work 10 years,
Yeah.
you're going to have a pension, you're going to keep getting if you stay that long in Indiana schools. So that's really a good point. That's probably something else we should try to pull out and help people understand.
and the good thing about it, there are others who are helping you manage that. You
Right.
don't have to worry about it. You come in and teach. You don't have to worry about that retirement
That's
package
right.
down the road. But how long?
And
Go ahead.
Brad puts money into it every
Yeah.
payday
Yeah.
for teachers and all staff.
Yeah. So I'm curious, from the time of posting, since it's so competitive right now, from the time of posting to a hire, is weeks, months? How quick can you turn that around?
It can work rather quickly. Someone can post tonight, we check tomorrow, and we start interviewing. I know principals have started interviewing. We have 3 schools that are adding assistant principals, and they've already had interviews this week. We've added teachers. There were some new postings today based on information I received this morning. We've added more postings that are out there today. And so principals are checking. They know the jobs are posted since staffing. Also, the administrative assistants in HR checking. I check. I know Dr. K checks. Chuck checks. The directors of elementary and secondary. It's a group effort. We're all checking, but really through HR, we check, and the administrative assistants in HR will email, if they receive the information, they can email the whole packet. So principals aren't searching through all the names, they email packets. And so in one email, principals can open and see the complete application packet.
Of course, you can't post until you have a position, but I assume there's a sweet spot in the year where you get more applicants, and as you get into May and June, they start to diminish.
Yes.
So you try to get up here and know it ahead. Okay.
Right. And that's why we
This
do
is
the
time.
March.
Okay.
That's why we focus on March staffing, get them posted right away, because right now, people that are looking for jobs are looking now for
Right now,
August.
yeah.
And then those that may be interested in moving positions are looking now because they want to be secure so they can have their
Already.
have their summer break,
Right.
Christmas too, but have their summer and have a set plan before August.
Perfect.
And
Thank
Jim,
you.
I would say this is something that has evolved,
Right.
when Muncie had financial trouble,
Yeah.
we weren't able to post positions early because
We
we
weren't.
had to make sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that we are really in good shape with our education fund, we can be more aggressive and we can, hire early, anticipate, we'll have some retirements or some people leaving for
Right.
other positions and still have those positions available before we even get those resignations.
Perfect. Thank you.
So when is, comp committee meets here in a few days. Is it the goal to have that in front of the board mid-April? So we should have something completed for teachers by this, the first meeting in April, you think?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So the first meeting in April.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was on the south side, my kids would leave and go over to Grissom and be like student teachers, kind of, that they were juniors and seniors. So maybe we could start that.
That's all part of the ed professions with that grow your own.
Yeah.
And so now all of the students that would do that now would also be getting dual credits. And so the program that they have designed at Ball State, and I believe at Ivy Tech as well, by the time those students finish their senior year, they've already completed 1 year of what they would need at Ball State, at least in the education field. And all those credits would transfer over. Am I saying that all right, Mrs. Ward? Ms. Ward?
Yes.
So,
So,
Doc-
right, and so they enter that program as juniors.
Dr. Bell, I want
Yes.
to congratulate you on a great year. You've transitioned very nicely. And the connection with Marion, and that's really something that I think we've all, Leah and I went down and visited, and I know that you've pulled that together, so thank you for that. As many options as we can have. For all the rest of us, I've recruited at any number of places. I know Dr. Bales is always recruiting. If you see somebody who may be, you think, a good teacher, refer them. My wife even has told me to tone it down just a notch at dinner. I'm the creepy guy who's trying to find everybody jobs. So, but thank you for your work. And if you need any help from us, other than what we're doing with comp and moving forward, let us know right away.
Okay.
Any ideas you have at all? I would say to you and Ms. Ward and everybody else here, don't be afraid to fail. Try it, because the labor force issues are real, and teachers are particularly valuable. And if we have one who we want to have, then let's figure out a way to get that person.
Okay.
So, anything else? Any additional questions? Thank you so much. Dr. Kay.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by giving a shout out to Isaac Deniston, who is our choir teacher at Northside Middle School. He took 3 groups of students for choir to the ISSMA competition on Saturday. First time they've ever taken all 3 levels of the choir, and they won 2 gold medals and 1 silver. And so if you look on Facebook, he made some kind of deal with the students, and if they brought back enough gold or medals, he had them shave his head today. So you should hear the kids laugh in this video. It is, he does a fabulous job. He teaches them so much, but he also he has fun with them as well. So love that. So proud of him. This Friday is the end of our week, and then we go into spring break next week. And I am really excited about some of the student opportunities that we have going on next week. At Northside Middle School, they have a group of students that are going to London. And I would like to go with them. I've never been to London, so I think probably some of you would like to join as well. We have a group going to Chicago to the Black College Expo. And then we also have a group of students going to Atlanta, and they're going to be visiting several HCBUs, HBCUs along the way and touring a museum. And so we're excited for all of that. And then after spring break, we have our students are going to Washington, D.C. Julie's staying behind this year and not going, but I know she's helped organize that trip, so it will be good. We also have a chance for our 8th graders through that civics grant that all the 8th graders this spring will be able to have a chance to go to Washington, D.C. So we're still working on those details. And then we're still hopeful for the robotics team that they'll be going to nationals. They're still competing and making their way through. And so think about all those great opportunities for our kids. That's wonderful. I know Dia just spent time about recruitment and retention, but I want to give a shout out to Dia. She is sending personal messages to the senior education majors from BSU, Anderson, Marian, Taylor, Ivy Tech. And so she gives them her personal contact information, her phone number, her email. She is going above and beyond trying to make sure we get students. And so I really appreciate all of her effort. And then same with Rhonda, who is working so hard to increase our minority educators, to retain the minority educators that we have, but we're trying very hard to increase minority educators. So I'm very proud of that work. And the message I hope everyone hears is that we're hiring early, so apply. We have competitive compensation. We're going to be one of the best in Delaware County coming soon, so that'll be great. And we really maintain low class sizes. And you always hear teachers say that they wish they had low class sizes, and you would get that in Muncie Community Schools. I also am arranging coffee chats with some of our Southview parents and community, and I'm happy that Andy and Allison are organizing those for me. So if anyone is watching and they want to be involved in some of those coffee chats, you can email our office or call our office, and we'll make sure you get on that list. But they're going out and finding folks that you enjoy meeting. If we have a lot of success with the Southview coffee chats, I'll probably continue and make my way around the city to all of our schools. And I think that is it for now. I know that when Dia has her presentation later, there are just a few things I want to make sure I clarify, and we'll do that during that presentation.
Okay. The civics grant, I know that we had a fair amount of money that needed to be allocated and or spent by August. Have we figured out?
I believe that is the 8th graders going to Washington, D.C. I think that's going to be a significant amount of funds to.
And I think we're working on a trip for a social studies teacher at a civics conference in Boston.
Yes.
Yeah, so I talked to Mr. Shermata about that. I don't know if he caught up with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. I just want to make sure we weren't leaving that. So, Dr. Bell, this video that you and Andy are making. So how do we get into this? I mean, can anybody audition?
Yes. We just want to hear the great news and great things that are going on in Muncie. And so we're not there yet for TikTok.
Okay.
We can show TikTok also, just to say why you want to be in Muncie schools.
Okay, so reach out if you need any of us. I know Dr. Bales has an agent, but you can deal directly with me. So, that's exciting. Yeah, let us know if we can be helpful on that. Okay. We are on to public comments. Mr. Yenser.
Oh, that's mine. Rick Yenser, newsman and author. As I've told you before, that we have a right to speak in the Constitution of the United States. I want to make sure your market, your people that watch this know that. A couple things on tonight's action agenda that caught my attention and some of the attention of our Facebook community, Delaware County Community Awareness. The bond issue and another agreement with Hawaii. On the bond issue, I talked to the finance people here today and was assured that this new bond for locker rooms and other infrastructure at the football stadium will not exceed more than a couple years, like the bond of a similar amount that you passed last year for the stadium and field itself. And that shows a bit of prudence because, again, I got tax rates from the county about a week ago, and most tax districts, Delaware County, the tax is going up. Now, Mr. Jerome indicated that your tax rate's gone down 7 cents, which should be a significant savings, even though that it may be wiped out by government or other taxing districts in this community. And I would remind you of the millions that you've got in cash to be able to spend for new capital improvements and to pay off the bond. And something else that I found out today, that finally you're going to be able to retire that $14 million general obligation bond a decade ago that caused the schools to be what they are today. Because again, that was one of the financial problems that the state found that ended the public's control, or at least an elected school board. Now, on the Y agreement, as you know, last year I was opposed to this for several reasons. And again, I think you've been generous enough to the YMCA. Now, if you're going to let their members have free use of central gyms and the pool, why aren't you going to have the public, parents, everybody use those facilities? You know, I understand there are monetary considerations for abandoning the pools that were in Central and the old high schools. But again, I think you've been generous enough because again, the YM, as I saw the documents and the old brass plates down the Y today, they changed their mission some time ago, a generation or two ago. Instead of taking in the homeless and the poor, it became more of a recreational community. And I only have to look where I live out in Yorktown, that 10 years ago, taxpayers built an $8 billion sports center that was supposed to be for public use, and all the government did was turn it over to the Y and Muncie-Anna volleyball. So again, I want you to think about these considerations as you go through tonight's agenda, and think about who pays for this public education, not just the parents, but property owners, and the state of Indiana. And again, the pay to play here with the YM, I think you'll find a lot of people, when they find out that members are going to be able to use Muncie school facilities, aren't going to be very happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yenser. So I'll put some clarity around those remarks. The use of the pool, field house, and other gymnasiums will be used largely by Muncie Community School students and their families as the Ys continue to provide before and after school care at our facilities, including our gymnasiums. Within the pool, they will be teaching our kids to swim and water safety. I don't know, I think kids at Muncie Community Schools have every right to be taught how to swim by professionals. The Y has the resources with which to do that and to provide a place where children who might not otherwise have the opportunity to learn how to swim and to learn appropriate water safety are able to receive that instruction. With regard to the gymnasiums, many of those families are receiving free and reduced costs for after and before school care for their families when child care is at a premium, and the Y has been an incredible partner in providing that for our students for many years, and this agreement captures that. We're on to the consent agenda. We have items 5.01 to 5.09. So I'm curious, tell me about the overnight field trip, the ROTC camp and the MCHS HBCU affair. Ms. Ward?
So why don't you go up to the microphone so that,
I'm sorry, I caught you off guard, but if you would, I'm just curious.
The Black College Expo is going to be in Chicago, Illinois, and from what I understand, they travel around to different cities. We had made an attempt to go in Detroit when it was in Detroit back in the fall, but we got the information a little late, and so it was pretty unreasonable for us to try to plan that trip. So we were happy that it was going to be held in Chicago, which is coming up, and it's a little closer even. So, but the students will have an opportunity to talk to various college officials from various HBCUs. They will talk to them about how to apply for different scholarships. They'll have an opportunity to write an essay on why a college education is important. They will be offering scholarships on the spot. And just having an opportunity to talk to different individuals regarding the different majors that the different HBCUs offer, the different programs that they offer, and other opportunities that they will be presented with or could be presented with at an HBCU.
Do we have a sense of how many students will be able to?
We have 11 students that have signed up.
Great.
Yes, we're real excited about it.
And
Yeah.
Howard made the NCAA tournament
Yes,
for
they
the first
did.
time in a while.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
big
that's
news.
exciting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions concerning the consent agenda? Thank you to, again, our donors who continue to be very, very generous with us. Is Lori Church here? No. Any other teachers who are joining us? Victoria Ellison, Jim Maries? Well, we're happy to have you. With that, any additional questions concerning the consent agenda? Would entertain a motion, if not.
So, second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we are on to the Jewel settlement. This was multi-district mass tort litigation involving Jewel e-cigarettes, vape pens that we had joined along with several other school districts around the state. The proposed settlement has been presented. The thrust of the case had to deal with the health and safety, adverse health and safety effects on our student body, and the amount of time having to be spent by teachers, administrators with regard to the issue of vaping and our students. A settlement has been proposed and presented. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to field those, but if not, I would entertain a motion to approve joining that mass settlement, which is subject again to the approval of the federal district court judge who is overseeing it and the special master who is managing the specifics of that settlement. Have a motion. Do I hear second?
Second.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Mr. Jerome, the financial report.
Thank you. Presented in your board packet is your February 2023 financial results. Obviously, this is 2 months into our calendar year. We have still been receiving our state basic grant. It was $3.5 million in the month of February, and that certainly has a chance to go up or down later this year based on enrollment, as well as waiting on the final funding formula to come out of the legislative session, which we think is still going to be approximately $43.4 million, which is still a very good number for us at Muncie Schools. Payroll this month was $2.6 million. That's up compared to last year over $600,000. That's due to higher headcount and the raises we have given. did not have any long-term debt payments in the month of February. Our long-term debt payments are in the month of June and December. Still had a total checkbook cash balance of $36.6 million at the end of February, still projecting to be in a surplus position in the education fund at the end of this calendar year as well. Our $12 million state of Indiana loan, that's now down to $10.4 million. We've now paid back $1.6 million of that interest-free loan. I just always like to mention that. We're still paying that back per the original amortization schedule. Mentioned we had over $36 million in the bank. We're still, obviously, we pay attention every month to our appropriation balance and appropriation balances that are left. And appropriations means the authority that we have to spend money. And later this year, we'll be asking for some additional appropriations on rainy day as well as debt service, but that was part of how we knew when our budget was approved with the DLGF. So right now, we're still within our state authority on spending. I always like to present some of those graphs. It just shows you over time how our cash balances have continued to go up compared to where they were a year ago or 2 years before. So that's showing a positive trend. If you saw nothing else, just knowing the graph is going up is a positive thing. So that really completes my financial report.
Any questions for Mr. Jerome? Would entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay. We have discussed briefly during the public comment session the facility use agreement. Mr. Jerome, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, this particular agreement really just it originated from the YMCA to MCS during the 2-year time period of their construction time that they will do there on the Muncie Central campus and while they are vacating their downtown offices. So that's the extent of the term for this agreement. It's been vetted by our attorney, David Day, and like I said, at this present time, it's just a 2-year term on that agreement.
Okay. Any questions?
If I may, also, Muncie Community Schools will be responsible for creating the times when we would be able to offer outside folks coming in. And so we always make sure that our students and our families always have the first priority.
Correct. That's set forth in the agreement, I believe.
Right.
At all. The timing has to be approved. So any additional questions? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. I've got a motion from Dr. O'Neill. Mrs. Barnes Griffin, a second. Is that right? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. 2023 bond process. Mr. Jerome?
Yes, thank you. Also presented in our board packet tonight is the 2023 bond project, and this really helps continue on to finish the Muncie Central High School campus and football stadium project there. What this will do is help finish the north locker room and restroom combination building there just north of the football field and track. This particular phase will be basically paid for in a 2-year time period, just very similar to the project we did last year with those bonds. The payback is 2 years. By doing this, our financial counselors have structured this where it doesn't affect our, doesn't make our debt service become higher. So we stay tax neutral at 50 cents on the debt service rate. Last year, our bond that we produced was a 2-year payback. This is also a 2-year payback. And we're doing this on such a short payback just to be able to maintain those tax rates, to tell the public and tell the board it's a tax neutral provision. And really what we're asking the board to do tonight is continue this process. We'll be following that draft timeline that I have there presented, where we'll start doing publishing and posting a legal notice in April, coming back for a hearing on the project in April, having some more timelines there in May and June, with once again being able to sell bonds before July 1st.
Any questions regarding, I don't believe this is requiring a motion at this point other than,
Well, and I would just also, if I could just mention also, my architects as well, they're not able to be here tonight, also wanting to make sure that we could complete the project by using construction manager as constructor. And that's where they share the risk. They are the ones that have to get the bids. And that's the way we did the previous project as well. So that's just, I wanted to mention that, if we could, as we start that process of seeking a construction manager as constructor.
and again, our folks who advised us in this process have assured us this is a tax neutral.
Tax neutral
Okay.
provision with Baker Tilly, and that's why it has such a short amortization schedule of only 2 years. And it really, this is the particular year we drop our debt, $12 million in debt service, because we're paying off a lot of this outstanding debt, which includes the 2014 GO bonds are paid off this year. So by structuring the debts the way we have, it's really keeping our tax rate very neutral.
I think of note too is the analysis that indicates that we have, not only have the capacity to borrow, but we don't use all the powder that we have. And I think that's an important piece for us to know, that as we do these projects, we do have opportunities to do additional projects within the context of our allowable
That's
bond issue.
a very good point, because that analysis that Baker Tilly put together for us showed additional capacity we could go for if we wanted to in the next phases or more years down the road, as we continue to do more things at the building level. As that, for many years, the facility committee had a huge laundry list of items that needed direct attention, very immediate, and those things have been addressed with some of these ESSER-funded projects, or now these 2 bond projects last year and this year. So eventually we'll keep expanding the list and keep doing things in other buildings as well.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jerome, and everybody who's worked on this. This is a very, very prudently managed structure that we've adapted to over the course of the past couple of years. So, and we're seeing some benefits of that, and our students and families are going to reap the benefits from it. So I guess you do need an approval for the timeline.
I need a permission to approve this draft timeline and approve this process.
Okay, so if there are no additional questions, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Been moved. Okay. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Jerome. Dr. Bell?
Good evening again. As you saw my presentation earlier about retention and recruitment, we have come up with another idea to retain highly effective teachers at 2 of our schools that we have shown great focus on this school year. Grissom Elementary and Southview Elementary both have the lowest teacher retention rate of all of our Muncie Community Schools, ranging from 75% to 89% of retention. All of our other Muncie Community Schools have a teacher retention rate of 91% for this current school year, or better. As all other districts across this country, we're facing shortages, and being able to secure qualified teachers, it's important that we hired the experienced teachers in these 2 schools. They service the most challenging situations. We desire to secure highly qualified teachers at Grissom and at Southview to provide high-quality educational experiences in the classroom. We will recruit internal, highly qualified teachers who voluntarily transfer to Grissom or Southview, and those that currently work at Southview and are highly qualified may also be a part of this, will be a part of that. Who want to be an integral part of improving our student academic achievement by offering a monetary stipend of $5,000 payable at the end of the school year to each teacher who is marked as highly qualified during the 2022-2023 school year. works each full semester for the 23-24 school year, and is not in unpaid status. Teachers must finish the school year at Grissom and at Southview for the stipend to be honored. And so this evening, I am asking the board to put forth the motion to offer a stipend to highly qualified teachers internally who apply and are hired at either Grissom and/or Southview as a means of securing high-quality teachers in these two schools. The stipend will look like $2,500 per semester, but it will be paid at the end of the school year because we want those teachers to stay at those schools throughout the school year. And again, I like to highlight that currently, and this is only March, those two schools are at 75 to 89% of teacher retention.
So just a few things to clarify. When we say a $5,000 stipend, once the teacher moves to that school, that $5,000 will be reoccurring. So we wouldn't want someone to move for a year and then head back to their other school. I mean, the purpose is to get highly qualified teachers, and two of our schools are experiencing some challenges, and to maintain those highly qualified teachers in that building. And and the teachers who are there that are highly qualified, they too would qualify for that stipend if they're rated highly qualified. So we're really trying to get the very, very best in those, our two schools, all of our schools.
That money comes from, where's that?
Education front?
So it's from our education.
Yeah, it's just our regular education fund, right?
And so it would be recurring. And so would we potentially expand it to other schools under certain conditions if we saw turnover?
Yes, I mean, where we want to start and see how this works, and we certainly, if we see success and we have other needs, we would always ask to be able to expand it.
So,
And I'm sorry, to add to that though, at this point for those two schools, if a teacher comes for 1 year and wants to, because we offer internal transfers, it's not offered, but it's always been there, and they go to a different school, then at this point, they would not have that stipend.
Right.
I think-
They only earn that stipend if they stay at those two schools.
I think this is an example of trying something different and new and innovative. It's not, I think we want to be clear, it's not to say there aren't challenges at every school.
Right.
But I think our attempt here is to attract the best teachers we can to the challenge where we have the greatest need. And so I applaud the effort to do something a little bit different. And, if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll try something else.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, so the teachers have to do 2022 year, they have to be
Evaluated as highly effective.
Someone can't bring an evaluation from 10 years ago and say, we want to make sure it's, we really should say their most recent.
so let me ask this, what would be the issue with expanding it to somebody who had a 2022, 2023 highly qualified evaluation from another district?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, we could offer it first to folks, and I assume you guys know in the world of education where the highly qualifieds are being distributed.
And I'm sorry, Jim, say that first part, you'd offer it to whom?
Why it's an internal offer at this point is the way I read it.
Yes.
Right.
So why wouldn't we make that available to those who receive a highly qualified rating at their most recent district during that? So 2022, 2023, let's say somebody taught it at a sister school district, I'll not name them, and said, well, hey, I see Muncie's offering $5,000 at the end of the year to go to this school that, has had some turnover. I think I'd like to try that. I guess I'm curious as to why we wouldn't consider expanding that And here's my reasoning, and here's, one of my fears is that we have highly qualified teachers at all of our schools, and they say, oh, yeah, okay, I'll leave this school and go down here. And, are we creating an internal problem? I mean, the numbers are such that I think we can avoid that. But if we create a pool which is larger, meaning districts nearby, I think that mitigates against my concern.
And I understand what you're saying, and I did consider, before even sharing this with Dr. K, the teacher retention rate throughout our district. And so 75 is far from 91, and the
Right.
rest are at 91. And I hear what you're saying about offering it outside. We would have to require their evaluation tool, but again, we're doing NIET, and
Right.
it is a more rigorous evaluation
Right.
tool compared to what other districts may be using.
Yeah,
And
and
so
I-
we would have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly fair. And my thought would be that if you have a sister district that you trust their evaluative process, that I would encourage you to expand that pool for fear that I don't want to have the unintended consequence of hurting rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I always like to err and try more, and then if we find out it didn't work, we could come back and say the other evaluations we couldn't count. But I like that idea because we want to get as many highly effective teachers in Muncie Community Schools, and if that means others are coming to us, I would support that too. I think that's.
Wait, Brittany, what do you think about?
The evaluation tool and evaluator, we don't review it in-house.
Yeah.
But I still, I just work we take them from these schools that are doing really well or have amazing teachers. What happens to those schools?
Yeah, I just think we have to be cautious, and I think we need to take steps to watch that very carefully. That, I guess my fear would be, okay, we have 5 highly effective teachers at elementary school B, and all 5 want to leave there and come down here. That's going to create a challenge at elementary school B, whatever that.
Right.
And that's what I want to be really cautious about.
And I understand what you're saying, and I'm very open to those additional suggestions. I just, from my experiences, even as a director of elementary, this West Views, North Views, they have a plethora of applicants. And so, if there's highly qualified teachers that choose to leave there, there's still opportunities that, because we don't have as many people, I'll just be honest, applying to the Grissams and the South Views.
No, I think I love the idea. I want to, go ahead, Keith.
I just have a question. This should be presumptuous, I suppose, but these transfers or their applications to transfer to a different school, whatever, they have to be approved as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Right.
that's kind of the stopgap, so to speak, to keep your eyes on that, to make sure that we're not robbing Peter to pay Paul, we're not creating a different kind of problem at another school.
Right. And as Dr. K said, we want all of our teachers highly effective.
And
Wanna
just because
attract.
it's an opportunity doesn't mean that you'd have to afford it to anyone that we would hire to those positions.
Correct.
I mean, it would just give those principals and
Another
Heidi
tool.
some latitude to do that.
So, and I almost hate to ask this question because it's unfair to put you on the spot, but what do the principals think of this at all the elementaries? Do they like this proposal? I mean, we got one here.
We have one
Yeah.
here.
You like it? Well, I know you do.
This is the first I'm hearing of the idea, so I think I'm processing. Our general education population, we share Vail-Free with Southview and Grissom.
Okay.
So our students are one and the same, and there's a lot of transiency between us. I certainly want to be a team player, but I appreciate sharing some of the potential concerns or challenges that may come with it, because I think while I'm proud of our growth, we have many of the same issues for over half of our building. as the two schools. And so, again, I want to be a team player. This is the first I'm hearing of it, so I don't have a strong opinion at this moment, but some of the hesitancy I feel, just to be very transparent, has maybe been brought up, but we certainly want to do what's best for all of Muncie schools. And I want to be a part of that same effort, but does make me feel a little nervous in some regards, but it sounds like we have some ways to monitor that and make sure it doesn't become anything that becomes too problematic.
So what I would suggest is some process that you as administration sit down and work through to, as Keith said, create the stopgap. And I would also broaden the pool to districts where you trust the evaluative process and that they apply the level of rigor that we're applying in-house. And, you know, one method I could think of, and I'm not telling you what to do, but one method is rotate among the schools, say, you know, the first three on the list, you can't go back to school A until you get a person from school B, school C, school D. In other words, to the extent you're able. By the same token, the equity at these schools who are suffering significant turnover in teachers regarding, you know, approximately caused by some of the challenges, we have a duty, as you rightly point out, we have a duty to do everything possible to get our best teachers online in those schools. That's a matter of equity for those students who are clearly reaping the adverse effects of what the current conditions, as the prevailing current conditions. So I think while Ms. Anglin's, and we've expressed our concerns, I would favor it with the understanding that we're going to be conscious of making certain that the unintended consequences are not, or they're at least mitigated.
Can I clarify some things? This is going to apply to current openings or ones that site.
I'm sorry.
This filling this is going to apply to current openings and positions.
Yes, current openings.
And then how are we going to fill a highly qualified positions that week? So let's say one of Sarah's teachers is like, yes, I want to go to Southview. How do we fill the spot at Sarah's? Do we post that?
That position is immediately posted.
And so we experience that every year already. We have teachers that put in transfers and they leave one school and they go to another school. What I would say is we don't have any of them leaving schools to go to Southview or to Grissom. But we have Southview and Grissom teachers leaving to go to other
EWA, Westview, Northview. Heidi, did you have an input? I'm not putting you on the spot, but.
Yeah, I think I would encourage administration to, I mean, we approve this in principle, but I would encourage administration to talk through the structure and some of the concerns that have been raised as it's implemented.
Because we don't want to harm other schools
Right.
while we're trying to improve, but
So, any additional questions? Would entertain a motion to approve with the caveat that we've raised. Been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Urban, second. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Okay, teacher referral bonus.
Yes, and that's back to the recruitment. So the recruitment of teachers has been a key focus for us in hiring and retaining staff. Engaging our current Muncie Community Schools as spokespersons for the district for recruiting teachers will be a great asset. Current staff are informed of our programs and the resources that Muncie Community Schools offer and have firsthand knowledge of our academic offerings. Great teachers actually know great teachers. And they are good at encouraging their teacher friends to join the Muncie Community School instructional team. The positives of Muncie Community School employees referring teacher friends to join Muncie Community Schools. Building includes building a system of support for one another, enhanced collaboration, and a sense of community. As I shared earlier, all schools across this country are facing teacher shortages, and it's imperative that our Muncie Community Schools secure experienced teachers who provide high-quality educational experiences. It is Muncie Community Schools' goal to attract highly effective teachers who want to join our Muncie Community School team and empower our current teachers, our current staff members, to encourage their friends and family to join our team. So I am asking today for the board to put forth the motion of a bonus referral. So to a referral bonus for Muncie Community Schools whose employees who actively recruit licensed teachers to join Muncie schools and that are hired. And those teachers come with the rate of highly effective. And so if we interview, hire, they're highly effective, they stay with Muncie for the year, at the end of the 23-24 school year, that teacher or staff member that referred them will get a $500 referral bonus.
Questions?
So the kicker is they have to come in with a highly effective rating from wherever they come from then, and you get a copy. You okay?
Yes.
Okay.
What if you recruit somebody who's got a teaching license that's just finished school? Should we lower that to $250? Because Ms. Spales, we got. No, I mean, I know, I'm gonna. We're gonna name this program after her. So I love it. But, what do you think about some lower referral for somebody who's just straight out of school? Doesn't have a rating.
I mean, again, we're trying to get the very best, so
I understand.
that is just a chance. We're taking a chance on a very first-year teacher who hasn't had experience.
They could hire in, become highly effective, and then transfer to Grissom and Southview.
Right, so, yeah.
It's a pathway.
Anybody else questions? I think it's wonderful. I like the idea.
I really like the incentive concept a lot. I'm trying to figure out how we get the best. That's what I'm having a hard time wrapping with new graduates. How do we know we're getting the best? Is it based on their student teaching performance? Is it based on recommendations from their college or university? I love the idea of providing an incentive to get the best here. That's what we want. We're striving for excellence in growing the team. Heaven knows we lost a lot of the team in the bad days.
Right.
We're rebuilding an excellent team. And so I think this is a great way to do it if we can figure out the devil's in the details, I guess.
Any additional questions? Yeah, that's the other thing. That's a great suggestion. So because we're waiting till the end of the first year anyhow, because you got to get through the year.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. So.
And I'm sorry, on the application, it does ask, where did you hear about our positions? And on that application, say Sean refers someone and they mark, from an employee and put the name. So we do get that as part of the application.
Okay. Any additional questions? Would entertain a motion? Moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Bell, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Great
Great
work.
stuff.
Great
Yeah.
work.
I don't have anything, Mr. Klotz? Okay. Would entertain a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Everybody have a good evening.